they signed peace with the hope of survival. But every promise carved into parchment was later torn apart by greed. The Sioux stood tall like mountains, but even mountains can bleed. This is the story of a people betrayed. This is how a nation was dismantled, piece by sacred piece. They called themselves the Lakota, Dakota, Nakota. Together, they were the great Sioux Nation. Children of the plains. Riders of the wind. Born under stars that whispered the ancient songs of their ancestors. They were not just a tribe, they were a universe. A people whose lives pulsed in rhythm with the buffalo, whose spirits were tied to the Black Hills, the heart of the world. To lose the land was to lose their soul. They were warriors, yes, but also visionaries. Philosophers. Healers. Their teepee circles mirrored the stars above. Their counsels ran deep with wisdom, passed down by firelight. From childhood, Sioux boys learned to ride as if they were born on horseback. Their warriors moved like shadows across the plains, unmatched in speed, strategy, and spirit. They did not fight for conquest. They fought to protect, to endure, to exist. Their ceremonies, like the sun dance, were not mere rituals. They were living prayers. Sacrifices of flesh and pain to keep the world in balance. A balance the white world would soon destroy. In the 1800s, the horizon began to change. Wagons rolled across sacred soil. Railroads split the earth like wounds. And the US government came with treaties, promises, and lies. In 1851, the Fort Laramie Treaty offered the Sioux peace. A great stretch of land, theirs forever. But forever lasted less than a generation. Gold was found in the Black Hills, the sacred heartland of the Sioux. And suddenly, paper treaties meant nothing. The miners came, then the soldiers, then the war. Red Cloud, a fierce Oglala Lakota chief, stood first. He led his people into the clouds of battle. And in 1866, his warriors annihilated an entire US unit in the Fetterman fight. It was a message written in blood: you will not pass without a cost. And yet, the cost always fell heavier on the Sioux. More soldiers, more forts, and soon, more treaties signed under pressure, under Fossard. Each one shrinking the Sioux world into a smaller and smaller cage. Then came Sitting Bull. Wise, defiant, unbroken, he saw visions of victory and carried his people through storms of bullets and lies. In 1876, at the Battle of the Little Bighorn, the Sioux struck back. Alongside their Cheyenne allies, they encircled General Custer's cavalry. The US flag fell that day. So did Custer. It was a rare, glorious moment. But it came at a terrible cost. The government would not forgive a defeat. They returned with vengeance. And with every new campaign, the noose tightened. The buffalo, once thundering in millions, were slaughtered by the thousands. A deliberate act. A silent war against Sioux survival. No buffalo, no life. Starvation crept into the camps. Children grew thin. Elders died without song. Sitting Bull, once the thunder of the plains, was now hunted. In 1890, he was shot by Indian police, men of his own people, forced to serve foreign masters. The great heart stopped beating. And with it, something sacred died. Then came Wounded Knee. A bitter December morning. The 7th Cavalry surrounded a Lakota band that had surrendered. They were cold. Hungry. Many were women and children. The soldiers claimed they came for peace. Then they opened fire. Hotchkiss guns tore bodies apart. Over 250 Lakota were killed in minutes. Some ran. Most fell. Blood soaked the snow. It was not a battle. It was a massacre. The ghost dance, a last hope for salvation, was branded a threat. And the Sioux were left with nothing but loss. The Black Hills were taken. The treaties broken. The buffalo gone. The people confined to reservations, stripped of pride, of freedom, of the sky itself. But the spirit of the Sioux did not vanish. Today, they stand. Not as victims, but as survivors. Their language still spoken in prayer. Their songs still echo across the prairies. The Black Hills, still sacred. Still fought for. Still ours, they say. Always ours. And the treaties? Still broken. Still dishonored. Still waiting for justice that may never come. The US government offered money for the stolen land. The Sioux refused. Because land is not for sale. Not sacred land. Not ever. Their story is not just history. It is prophecy. A mirror held to the face of a nation that forgot its own promises. Remember the names: Red Cloud, Sitting Bull, Crazy Horse. Remember the fallen at Wounded Knee. They were not lost. They were taken. And yet, their memory walks with the wind. Their strength runs in the veins of every Lakota child born today. Their truth lives on, carved not in stone, but in the bones of the earth itself. They were promised peace. They were given bullets. But even broken, the Sioux Nation endures. So when you hear the wind howl across the plains, know this: it is not just wind. It is a voice. A warning. A vow. We are still here. And we will not be forgotten.